Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's TechBan, and I welcome you to this very special reading of The Sparkle in His Eye by Tatsuro. Unlike all my other dramatic readings, I will not be listing the chapters on this one, as this story is over 200 chapters long, and I don't want to try to keep track of all of them. So this is Veldin, Arrival. Ratchet lay back on the covered metal table he used as a bed as he stared up through his home's newly installed skylight at the stars. He was proud of that skylight. It was the first thing that size he had made with his own hands that functioned exactly as he intended it to. He held his Omni wrench comfortably across his chest, letting his mind wander over his 10 years of life. Veldin was a backwater agro-planet in a far corner of the Solana galaxy. It was a hard environment, and it made the people who lived there hard as well. So the new colony had put forth little effort on the orphaned Lombax that had shown up on their doorstep from the stars. No one there had ever seen a Lombax before, and the only one who had been welcoming had been the colony's nursemaid bot, who took care of the colony's young ones while the adults were working to eke out a living from the unwelcoming soil. She hadn't distinguished between the colonists and Ratchet. To her, he had just been another child she was supposed to take care of. That had come to an end when Thunder soldiers sent by some pirates had destroyed her. Ratchet wished he could remember her kind face. After that, the young ones had been on their own while the adults worked. One of the older ones had established his idea of a pecking order by bullying all the others. He tried to force Ratchet into that order by trying to take Ratchet's Omni wrench. That was when Ratchet discovered his tool could also be a weapon when he instinctively brained the young thug. While the other youngsters had taken his side when the adults came back, he was still exiled from the colony as a danger to the children. He had lived off whatever scraps he could scrounge at night after that, and had developed a bit of a distaste for the adults of the colony. However, every so often, one of the youngsters would sneak him some extra food or sweet, so he had a fondness for them. Then, one night, he found no scraps as he came in at night. One of the children had told him that horned toads had raided the farms, and every last scrap had to be preserved against the damaged harvest, so everything was locked up, and everyone was on short rations. The next day, when the horned toads had attacked the farms again, Ratchet attacked them. While the toads moved too fast for the colonists to handle themselves, Ratchet's innate cat-like grace, combined with his newly discovered ability to sense where the toads were in his immediate surroundings, allowed him to completely eradicate the invading horned toads, while avoiding any damage to the crops whatsoever. After that, Ratchet was considered an asset to the colony. They gave him an old tool shed just outside the colony to sleep in after clearing it out, and each farm took turns bringing him food and other necessities. In exchange, Ratchet protected the farms from any threat. This agreement had continued unchanged until 3 years back, when the Gadgetron vendor had arrived, trying to make a sale. He offered a bomb glove as a way to perfectly defend farms against pests, but no one was buying. After all, they had Ratchet. When horned toads had attempted to raid the farms again, the vendor had moved to demonstrate the bomb glove, only to witness a demonstration of Ratchet. The vendor had tried to sell Ratchet the bomb glove after that, but Ratchet had no bolts to buy with. The vendor apparently took a shine to Ratchet, as he had gifted him a bomb glove, a Gadgeton help desk uplink, and an arrangement to get him a Hunters Guild license. The Hunters Guild was a galaxy-wide organization that functioned on a simple premise. If there was something anywhere in the galaxy that was dangerous, or just living, somebody somewhere would pay to have it killed. Narrator Note 1. The Hunters Guild made contact with those who would pay for something to be killed, negotiate a per head price, and then post that to all guild members, with a discount for guild processing. All hunters kept their bolt accounts with the guild and bought things electronically. Any bolts that were found by the hunters from, say, smashing crates could immediately be transferred to the account electronically using the guild license, which also acted as a charge card. With that, Ratchet was starting to make some bolts. And with that, he ordered various non-essentials from Gadgetron. At first, it was just the usual childlike desires, such as candy, toys, video games, and the like. But as his exposure to things beyond Veldin grew, so did his curiosity, and he began to request other things like holobooks and tech pieces he could put together and assemble, where he discovered his talent for assembling unusual things and technology in general. As he stared up now at his voice command skylight, he realized just how small Veldin was, and how much there was out there in the galaxy to see. He realized he was growing bored of Veldin. Beyond that, a greater influx of bolts to the colony, and the power generator he had built for them, had allowed them to protect the farms with electrified fences, which succeeded in deterring the horned toads from the crops. So Ratchet realized he really had nothing left to do here. Everything had become so dull. He tapped the help desk uplink. "Welcome to the Gadgetron help desk." A feminine voice spoke through the uplink. How can I assist you today?" "Is it possible to literally die of boredom?" he asked. There was a silence for a moment, and the sound of tapping keys. This wasn't the first esoteric question he had asked the help desk, after all, and thankfully she always took them seriously. "While boredom has been hypothesized to possibly contribute to many neurological and biological conditions that can contribute to an unexpected departure from the mortal coil, there is no evidence that boredom itself can cause death. Will there be anything else today, valued customer?" "Nah, that'll be it. That'll be all for now," Ratchet said, cutting off the uplink. He stared up at the stars through the skylight. Seeing a star shooting across the sky, he decided to do as the children of the colony had talked about and made a wish. "I wish some excitement would find its way into my life," he whispered to the shooting star. At that exact moment, in a massive station in the Polaris galaxy, at the exact center of the universe, give or take 50 feet, an elderly Zoni lifted his hand and froze time. He had just detected a massive quantum anomaly, the likes of which hadn't been seen since the one he built this station to correct. Oddly enough, there didn't seem to be anything destructive in the nature of this anomaly, but the scale was something to be concerned with, especially as it was focused on the planet Veldin. While some would claim that such a nowhere backwater planet couldn't possibly be a concern in the grand scheme, he knew that he needed to keep an eye on such worlds for specifically that reason. Planets where things were likely to happen often had people that took care of them. Planets that seemed unimportant, on the other hand, were the perfect places for trouble to grow unchecked. He should know he had plans for Veldin. "Orvis, sir," Sigmod said, rushing in as soon as he felt the time stop. "Is something the matter?" "Could be," Orvis muttered. "Could be." Commandeering the nearest viewer, he dragged it to focus on Veldin and observed time on planet Veldin. There, he saw a point of divergence. Sigmod gasped. "Divergence! That's not good, right?" "Actually, that's wonderful news," Orvis said with a sigh of relief. "Given the size of the anomaly I detected, the fact that the result is only a divergence is a great relief. Given the size of the anomaly and how tightly focused it is, I was half expecting the result to be planetary annihilation, or worse. He pulled up the details of the divergence. Let's see what's happened there, shall we? While there was some sort of technical terms for what the divergence actually meant and how to interpret it, Orvis' humorous nature meant that the computers were designed to give him a humorous shorthand. As such, the two sides of the divergence were labeled, "What would have happened?" and "What is happening now?" He called up, "What would happen?" The timeline showed that Ratchet, with Ratchet's wish ungranted, he would come to the conclusion that if he wanted excitement, he would have to seek it out for himself. This would lead him saving up all of his bolts towards building his own starship. He would get all the parts, save a robotic ignition and navigation system. That would be where Orvis' son, who wasn't even made yet, would come into play with a friendship that would eventually reshape the galaxy. However, the new timeline showed very little information. All it showed was that somehow Ratchet's wish had been granted, and the entire remainder of the screen had only the term "unfolding." "Well, that is interesting," Orvis said, rubbing his chin. "It seems we have a flux point in effect." A flux point, sir?" Sigmod asked curiously. Orvis chuckled. "That it means things are going to be fun." He called over a comfortable sofa and shifted the data to the large screen as he took a seat. The data resolved itself into images. "Popcorn, sir?" Sigma offered, extending the corn popper that was part of his structure. "Please," Orvis said, "and have some yourself. This is going to be fun." Lowering his hand, he let time flow. Ratchet's eyes widened as he saw the shooting star seem to stop in the sky and begin to glow brighter. "That's weird," he said. "I'm pretty sure shooting stars don't do that." As he saw the star glow brighter and bigger, he gulped. "But falling stars do!" He yelped, running out of the shed. The star crashed through his skylight in a blaze of light. However, the expected explosion never occurred. "Huh?" With that statement of brilliance, Ratchet turned and went back into the shed. The only sign of the falling star was a hole in the roof and a glowing basket on the bed. He carefully approached. The basket was small, exactly the size one would expect someone to leave a baby in on a doorstep. In fact, it was the same size as the pod, now non-functional, that Ratchet had arrived on Veldin in. The real surprise was what was in the basket. A creature like nothing Ratchet had ever seen or read about. The creature lay on its side, half curled up. It had 4 legs terminating in hooves. It had a feathered wing folded tightly against its side and a spiraling horn rising from the center of its forehead. Other than that, it was vaguely equine-like, despite being the size of a domestic house cat. It was also bright purple, with a mark of 6 stars on its rump, and the mane and tail were dark purple with a pink stripe. On the basket was an inscription. Despite having no idea what language the inscription was in, Ratchet could read it plain as day. Twilight Sparkle. Ratchet tilted his head back and forth. "Is this supposed to happen?" he asked, poking the creature. Her eyes opened. She looked around scared and started to cry loudly. Ratchet clutched his sensitive ears. "If this is excitement, I don't want it anymore," he yelled out. Deep within the great clock, Orvis laughed again. "Be careful what you wish for, my boy." Narrator Note 1. Sniping's a good job, mate. It's challenging work, out of doors. I guarantee you'll not go hungry, because at the end of the day, as long as there's 2 people left on the planet, someone's gonna want someone dead. I'm sorry, that is the only line I could think of as I read that. So, there's that now. This is a little project. This one's for you, Tatsuro. I saw you were having a bad day, and I thought, you know what, I can do something about that. So this is the beginning of Sparkle in His Eye. This will probably just be Ratchet and Clank. My goal is to do about 5 of these a week, just to help you get back in, give you something to come home and relax to and listen to and have a good time with. So this one's for you, me, and all my fans who've been with me. I do apologize for the large gap we had. The long story. Hopefully I'll be able to keep this up, because this is going to be a long one again. I will not be listing the name of the chapters. It's going to be just the title, and they're going to be in order. I may break these up on playlists, so instead of it being one 200 some odd thing long playlist, it'll be, first one, second one, but I may have to do it just as one big one anyway. In the meantime, folks, my name's TechBan. I wish you all good luck, good hunting, and safe travels. I'll see you in the next one, my Benditos.